All right, let's go to the main slate. What quarterbacks and stacks are you building around this week?
So I think my favorite stack right now is Jordan Love, Christian Watson at Denver. I mentioned, our other pod loves in my top 10 to begin the week. He's coming off two bad games. They had a bye, so I would imagine his roster ship's going to be pretty low here. This is a cheap stack. Love's 5,800, but Watson's 5,600. It's really about Christian Watson here. I think he's due for just a massive game. Should be much closer to 100% after the bye. And Denver's allowed the third most fantasy points to quarterback. So this is a game where I think the Love Watson stack could hit in GPPs. And then my other stack I love is just Kenneth Walker with the Seattle defense. Walker's my RB1 to start the week, assuming Christian McCaffrey's not 100%. This is a great matchup against the Cardinals defense. At one point against the Rams ran the ball like 7-8 times. The Cards knew it was coming, and they still couldn't stop them. So imagine them trying to stop Kenneth Walker. So I just think Seattle's going to lean heavily on Walker here. And their defense is finally healthy. And Josh Jobs is a pick six waiting to happen. He has the sixth highest turnover worthy play rate this season. So just love, stacking Kenneth Walker and the Seahawks defense here.
Yeah, I think this Cardinal defense is bad. It's just bad all the way around.
Initially, they're not as bad as we thought. And yeah, they are.
Yeah, defensively, definitely. I think offensively, they're a little bit better, maybe, but now it's like, Dobbs is starting to come back. The more you get on these backup quarterbacks, the harder it gets, and so it's they're definitely coming back down to earth. I like the pass game against the Seattle pass game against the Cards too, because Geno Smith, I mean, he's not a super high volume quarterback, and you did mention, they'll run the ball at Walker, but this is the bottom two pass defense in terms of DVOA. Also 31st against number one wide receiver. So I think it's a good spot for Geno and Metcalf. Geno's just 6K on DraftKings and Metcalf just 68. Fanduel, Geno's just 7K and Metcalf 77. But Lockett 68. So you could go, Geno with both of them or one of them. I think Metcalf is a little bit, I like Metcalf a little more, but both of them, both of his receivers, I think, are in play here. And even, Smith and Jigba, his routes started coming up a little bit. So he's another guy to kind of keep in mind there. But I think, his two studs definitely want to stack with them. And then a little bit cheaper, like Sam Howell against the Giants. Howell's at 5,500. You could stack him with Terry McLaurin, who's 5,400. That's a pretty good stack. McLaurin finally got above 90% in his snap rate last week. So that's a good sign because he really had been topping out around 85%. So hopefully he can continue to keep getting more snaps. Then either Dotson as a bounce back guy. You could on FanDuel, Dotson's only 5,400. So I think Dotson, you play him on FanDuel. On DraftKings, you could also stack Howell with Curtis Samuel at just 4K. But Samuel's 10K more expensive on FanDuel, which I think is actually smart. Samuel's been the better receiver, but this Giant defense, 26 in DVOA against the pass, bottom 20 against number one wide receivers, bottom 20 against non-number twos. McLaurin, he leads the team in targets against man coverage, which the Giants have been running a lot. Not as much last week against Buffalo, which I thought was smart, but I'm sure they'll start blitzing Howell again this week. So we'll see more man coverage. And then Samuel leads the team in catches and yards against man coverage. Dotson was the one who led them with, he leads them with touchdowns against man since the start of last year with 5. So there's reasons to like all three of these receivers against this Giants defense. But I think Sam Howell at 5,500 on DK especially is a nice price for him.
Yeah, I like the idea of buying low on Jahan Dotson. I might have been a week too early, so I'm out on him this week. I can't double down. But yeah, like I would not be shocked if he goes off the week after I went all in on him. But yeah, I love this stack.
Who do you like for dark throws?
I have all rookies. So this is a rookie week for me at running back. Roschon Johnson against the Raiders. He's 4,600. I'm assuming he clears the concussion protocol. Hopefully he can. If he does, he should be the lead back with Deontay Foreman likely as his backup. This is, a great matchup against the Raiders defense that ranks 27th in run DVOA. So I think this is finally his time to shine. And then Zach Evans, I mentioned on our other pod, he's min price. He's 4K against the Steelers. I'm assuming he will have the first crack to be the lead back with Kyron Williams and Ronnie Rivers out. Um, However, if it does look like everybody's going to be on Zach Evans, I'm more than okay with pivoting to Royce Freeman at 4K. I mean, we don't really know what McVay's ever going to do. And if it looks like everyone's ignoring Freeman at 4K, I think he's worth a dart throw as well. At wide receiver, I just love taking Michael Wilson against teams that play a ton of zone. I mentioned last week he was a great play in this price range. The Rams played the sixth highest zone rate. He went off for 3 catches for 63 yards. He sees a lot of targets, in that sweet spot, like 16 yards down the field with room to run. So he's a big play threat where he's still getting, high percentage targets. And this week he faces a Seattle defense that's used zone at the second highest rate. So this is another great spot for him. Should be a trailing, pass heavy game script. So love Michael Wilson at 3,800. He just has a really high ceiling for these players under 4K. And then at tight end, Michael Mayer against the Bears, he's 2,700. The week after, he officially overtook Austin Hooper as the main pass catching tight end. He had a 67% routes run rate, caught 5 balls for 75 yards, and he was considered the top tight end in this year's draft class, mainly due to his blocking ability. But he's a solid pass catching tight end as well. So he's in the middle of his breakout, and he's very cheap. So I like the idea of taking him at 2,700 here.
Yeah, Mayer was good last week. Expected that to happen eventually. I mean, Hooper hasn't been doing much of anything, but Raiders, another team, always tough to project. But yeah, I would imagine they keep getting Mayer more and more involved. They mentioned that a couple weeks ago that they wanted to. I don't think it played out too much on the Packer game, but it did play out in that Patriot game. Okay, here's a guy that I've been low on all offseason, but I think he's good dart throw time for him this week. Jerick McKinnon. Finally the Chiefs get, they've been playing all these kind of matchups where they're big favorites, and now they get to play a Charger team. It's inside of a touchdown. And the Chiefs aren't going to cover that number. So it's going to be a close game because the Chargers are incapable of losing like poorly. Like they're always going to lose in like a heartbreaking fashion if they do lose. So either way, I think it's a good game script matchup for McKinnon. He's 4,700 on DK and Fanduel. So Fanduel is even cheaper. I get it because he's a half PPR, but Chargers not only 24th in DVOA against the run, but 29th. So bottom 4 in DVOA on passes to running backs, giving up the most schedule adjusted receiving yards per game to opposing backs and the third most schedule adjusted targets per game to opposing backs per FTN. So like McKinnon, I think this is a spot where he could give one of his patented like 5 catch, 2 touchdown type of games. Yep. And 1 carry. I saw it last week on Thursday. It was like his rushing prop was 9.5. I should have took the under, but I'm like, they're expecting him to get multiple carries. It's bad weather. Maybe we need to like bump him up. But he's not going to do it on the ground usually. But I think this is a good game for him to do it through the air, and you get a lot of leverage on Pacheco, who I'm sure is going to be popular on this slate as well. Jaleel McLaughlin, he's 5K on DK, 5,100 on FanDuel. P. Ryan's questionable. He's as you mentioned, looked like he's been getting phased out. I think ultimately it'll be the Javonte and McLaughlin show against the Packers. 26 in DVOA against the run is Green Bay. 26 in DVOA on targets to back. So this is a defense. They like to play soft and that soft zone, and a lot of guys off the ball. So you can usually run on Green Bay. They're trying to limit the explosives down the field. And McLaughlin's snaps have been increasing last 4 weeks: 21%, 33%, 33%. 40%, and that was with Williams back that last game at 40%. So I think McLaughlin can continue to shine. Wan'Dale Robinson, love him at 3,800. He's a low end wide receiver 3 for me this week. Ran a season high 73% routes per dropback last week. 4 or more catches in each game, averaging 5.5 catches per game. Washington bottom 6 in DVOA against the pass. Tutu Atwell, another guy like 4,300 on DK, 52 on FanDuel. Pittsburgh plays the top 5 man coverage rate. Atwell leads the Rams in targets and yards against man coverage, and he's still been running route just under 90% of the dropbacks with cutback. And a tight end, love Luke Musgrave this week, just 3,300 on DK, 5K on FanDuel, 80% route participation in his 4 healthy games, averaging just over 4 catches, around 40 yards per game in his 4 healthy games. And the Broncos are second worst in DVOA against tight ends, and they're giving up the most schedule adjusted receiving yards to tight ends. A lot of that was probably Travis Kelce last week, but either way, this team has been bad on pass defense across the board, but I think Musgrave's going a little under the radar. He's a top 10 tight end for me this week, just 3,300 again on DK.
Yeah, and I think he quickly got out of the doghouse for call in, what was it, week 4. He got chewed out and benched for like a whole drive. LaFleur was not happy with him, but I think he's back in his good graces.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers in general, I think that bye came at a good time. Number one, you need to get Aaron Jones healthy, but number two, just watching them on tape, a lot of the issues with the offense, I think could be fixed with just some adjustments and some coaching up. Like I mentioned, Jordan Love, just when he drops back to pass, his body and his shoulders and his knees aren't always facing his target, so he's a little off balance. And then like Christian Watson, some of his reads on like the choice routes, I think aren't the best for, a number one receiver, and that's going to just come with more time with Love, more time in the offense. So I think besides just the health, there's a lot of things on that offense, because it's so young. Musgrave is a rookie. Yeah. Watson's a year 2 guy. Dobbs a year 2 guy. Jada Reed's a rookie. Everyone's and Love has, doesn't even have 10 starts in the NFL yet. So I think this Packer team coming out the bye, dart throws, whatever you want to call them, just all across the board, pretty much every Packer starter, great play in DFS this week.
Yeah, Romeo Dobbs had the most experience of this crew heading into the season, right?
Yeah, and
crazy.
Somebody's gonna be right. It's probably gonna be Watson seeing the most on. I mean, unless they shadow it Surtain, but Damari Mathis, somebody's gonna be running a lot of routes on it. Either Dobbs or Watson.
Yeah.
Damari Mathis, aka the guy who went and tried to block. Who was it? He tried to block the back instead of tackling Mahomes.
Yeah,
he just engaged the block. That's the Madden AI, Madden 2005 AI, where it's like. Wow, what's going on here?
I was looking at that game. I was starting to look at IDP props, like tackle props, and I was going to take his under 4.5 tackles, because normally he's just torched by opposing wide receivers, but he was facing the Chiefs, who they never throw to the outside receiver, so he wasn't going to get that many tackles because they were going to throw at him, and then just him missing that tackle is hilarious. So he finished with 2, but yeah.
What a guy.
What a guy.
And another guy I should mention, Rashee Rice is in the middle of a breakout. He's 4,700 on DK, so in a should be a pass every game. I think he's another guy to take a look at. Still, the routes distribution on Kansas City is still all over the place.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, Rice is clearly the guy earning more and more trust and playing time and whatnot. So I think it's a good time to buy him, where he's still under 5K. Did run a not a season high, but he was back up to 50% routes in the last per drop back in the last game. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, and I don't know if Justin Watson's going to be able to play.
No, he dislocated his elbow, I thought, or something like that.
It looked
very bad.
It looked like he might play, but I can't imagine them forcing it with Justin Watson. But certainly that'll clear up routes. And their wide receiver room is weird. It's like whoever runs the most routes doesn't see targets, and whoever's playing little playing time sees a ton of targets. So it's always fun to project them.
Well, that's more of a Marquez Valdez-Scantling problem.
It really is.
He's just out there not doing anything.
It's insane.
He's blocking and he's giving advice, hyping guys up, giving guys pats on the back. Great back patter is that Marquez Valdez-Scantling guy. Okay, let's go to DraftKings, and I think you're up first this week.
Okay. Let's see. I'll go with Isaiah Pacheco. He looks a bit cheap on DK, 6,100.
All right. Kenneth Walker, 7K, top running back this week. Like the price.
I'll take Josh Palmer at 4,800.
Give me some. Let's go with Terry McLaurin, 5,400. Finally starting to run enough routes. Hopefully he can get back to that productive guy that we've known him to be. 81 yards last week, so good to see. So let's go with him. Still too cheap for his body of work.
Man, gonna roll the dice on this, but Roschon Johnson at 4,600.
Yeah, this is risky.
So 2 weeks, he suffered the concussion on Thursday night game, increases his odds of returning. I admit
No
it's a
takebacks.
dice roll. It's a dice
I mean,
roll.
you get no points for those zeros, so I get
Yep.
it. But yeah,
On the
I
wire.
think we've both learned our lessons with doing this. We record this, for everyone out there. We record these on Tuesdays, so sometimes it's tough with some of the injuries. So
Yeah.
try to steer clear. But I mean, unless he's got a more serious concussion than anyone's letting on.
Right.
But I'll go with Christian Watson, 5,600.
Nice.
Another guy, great price. Hopefully we can get off Surtain a little bit. I don't think he's going to be on him every play just because they do play zone.
I'll go Zay Flowers at 5,700.
Nice, yeah. Zay balled out in that London game. Got himself first career touchdown. Good to see. Okay, I will go. Let's go Josh Jacobs at 7,400. Paying up a little at running back.
Spending up at running back this week.
Yeah, a lot of people will probably go spend down with some options there, but I think the guys at the top are all, like Jacobs, Walker, the guys in that range are a little underpriced. So
yeah, it looks like the Rams brought in Myles Gaskin
and Darrell Henderson's on the practice squad too now.
Oh, great.
So you might like who knows with Zach Evans?
Yeah, that's at this point. 33% chance he'll get it right. Trying to guess what McVay's going to do.
Exactly.
I'm going to go Geno Smith at 6K. Maybe counter your Kenneth Walker a bit. Give me some leverage in case Roschon's out. I need some leverage here.
Let's go Mark Andrews at tight end, 5,700. 2,300 difference between him and Kelsey. That's pretty massive this week.
Yeah.
But Detroit, one of their weaker positions has been against the tight end. Great defense all the way around, but receivers with a talk last week, so I think we get some more Andrews this week. Get a big Andrews game. So yeah, let's go him at 5,700 at tight end.
Yeah, I'll go tight end as well. I'm probably gonna have to go cheaper. I'll go Luke Musgrave at 3,300.
Love it.
You mentioned great matchup against the Broncos too.
Give me some Seahawk defense, 3,200, going against the Cards. You already mentioned it. Just struggling. Dobbs is top 6 in turnover worthy plays.
Yeah.
This is your stack. Walker Seahawks. So love it.
Yeah.
Love
damn
it.
you.
So yeah, got to roll with that.
I was gonna go with them, and look like I still had a bunch of money to spend. So I guess I'm gonna spend up at defense. I'm gonna take the Bills up against Mac Jones at 4,200.
Oh, that is dirty. I the only reason I didn't go defense sooner from a game theory perspective was I was thinking that like the Browns and the Seahawks both, like the Browns at 3,300. I was between them, so I was like, all right, well, there's two. So let's see. Oh yeah, let's go Wandale.
Oh, nice.
3,800.
Yep. Is Daniel Jones return this week? I haven't seen is he still week to week?
I'm numb to Giants.
Okay, sorry.
He's I mean he said they're saying he has a chance. I just feel like that we talked about this last week. That neck injury seems like a multi-week thing, so he could. Taylor looked fine. Taylor might have looked better, to be honest. So I mean, if Andrew Thomas comes back, that would just be so massive. That's
they need him
to come back because it's. I mean, they had Justin when they did the Sunday Night Football. Justin Pugh was just like Justin Pugh straight off the couch. It's like that's what it's come to. That's what it's come to for this Giant team. But I'll go Wandale, 5.5 catches per game. Get more involved by the week. So round up my receiving core with him. I got 59.50 average for a quarterback in flex. What about you?
Yeah, I have 7,600 left for wide receiver and flex, so I'm going to spend up at wide receiver. I'm going to take Puka Nacua at 7,600.
Boom. Yeah. Not been talked about much this week, but
he dropped a touch. Yeah, I know he dropped like a ridiculous.
Yeah. He came down on his elbow. Yeah. It just popped out.
Yeah.
Tough break. Lamar Jackson at QB. tough matchup, but tough quarterback slate. I could go cheap with Love, but I already have Watson and I already have McLaurin, so not gonna stack it with the quarterback. So I'll go expensive and hope that turns into a bit of a shootout.
How much money do you have left over?
4,300 for the flex.
Okay. Damn, I can't steal your player here. I got to spend
got
up. I got 700. The best player I have available would be Bijan Robinson. So going with him at 7,500, meaning I have $200 left on the table.
All right.
Or $400. Sorry.
I will go. I'm gonna use the rest of my salary. I have 4,300. I could go Zach Evans here, but I'm gonna go Tutu Atwell. I like him this week, and he's been quiet, so it's gonna kind of be my little wild card. Like him against the matchup. Yeah. Only 6 targets in 2 games since Cup came back, so I think that turns around a little bit. So yeah, let's go with some Tutu, and maybe who knows? Maybe Tutu gets some carries this week. Rams love to do those wide receiver carries more than pretty much any other team. So
yeah, Skoranek or Atwell for sure.
Yeah. So.
I don't think you can trust Zach Evans in cash games right now.
No, I mean, this is just kind of, it's not, I guess it trends to a little more cash just because we're doing this on Tuesday,
right.
But I'll still take some shots here and there.
I
feel like I got a cashy lineup outside of Atwell, so yeah, we'll go Atwell.
Right.
43. My full lineup is Lamar, quarterback 7,600 against Detroit. Kenneth Walker, 7K against the Cardinals. Josh Jacobs, 7,400 at running back at Chicago. Then wide receiver, we got Terry McLaurin, 5,400 at the Giants. Christian Watson, 5,600 at the Broncos. And Juan Dale Robinson, 3,800 against Washington. Andrews at tight end. So, I mean, again, I guess he still got a stack. I was trying to avoid stacks, but got Andrew stacked with Lamar, 5,700. Good price, though, for him. And then Tutu in the flex at 43. And the Seattle Seahawks, 3,200 home favorites against Arizona. What do you got?
So I went with Geno Smith at quarterback. At running back, I went with Isaiah Pacheco and Roshan Johnson. Crossing my fingers, he clears protocol this week. Wide receiver, I went with Puka Nacua, Zay Flowers, and Josh Palmer. At tight end, I went with Luke Musgrave. I have quite a few rookies in my lineup this week.
Right.
And I went with another rookie in my flex at Bijan Robinson. And then for my defense, I spent up and took the Bills facing Mac Jones and the Patriots.
All right. Let's jump to Fanduel. And I'll go first here. I'll go Geno on Fanduel with 7K. He's super cheap. And he's 800 less than Jordan Love. So yeah, this is where I need to go Geno. So yeah, I'll start with Geno.
Nice.
7K.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Walker on FanDuel, 8,800.
I'll go with Javonte at 6K against the Packers.
Yeah, pricing's pretty tight.
Yeah, FanDuel's been better, I think. With the pricing lately.
I'll go Zay Flowers again at 6,300.
All right. I'll go with Musgrave on FanDuel then at 5K.
Yeah.
Great price.
I'll stick with the Packers here. I'll go Christian Watson at 6,600.
Just like
better
reverse teams.
Yeah, exactly. Better. I think he's a better FanDuel play. He's not going to really rack up a ton of catches, but he'll do a ton of damage on them, and that's typically better for a half PPR site like FanDuel.
Yeah, unless he gets to the 100, I mean, that's kind of what you're looking for.
Oh, true. Yeah, which is very possible with him.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna punt defense. We're gonna go Giants at home against Washington. They tend to own Washington. Howell's a sack machine. Even though I like him this week, he does take a ton of sacks, does make a ton of mistakes. Giants D's been playing better. Love the game plan against Buffalo. Got a pick 6 against Miami and didn't get completely embarrassed. I think 31 points against the Dolphins is actually solid. So and then they played decently against Seattle as well. So we'll go Giants at 3,400. Save some cash.
Nice. All right. screw it. I never really get cheap running backs on FanDuel, but I like Jill McLaughlin at 5,100.
Okay.
You know, this is still Javante's backfield, but McLaughlin he's looked great. Still could command, potentially 10 plus touches here, especially if P Ryan's out or being phased out. So I like him at 5,100 on FanDuel.
Love it. All right. So I have 7,700 for running back, 3 wide receivers, and a flex. So I got to start spending up a little bit here.
Yeah.
Let's go with. I'll go Josh Jacobs again, 8K at Chicago. Just, whoever starts a quarterback for the Raiders, this seems like another just give Josh Jacobs the ball type of game. He had 25 carries last week and 5 targets, so 30 potential touch opportunities. The week before, he had 25 touch opportunities. The week before, 28. The week before, 22. So 4 straight games of 20 or more opportunities. Love me some Jacobs this week against the Bears.
I'm going to go Michael Wilson. I'm going to go cheap at receiver, 5,400. Love his upside, but I think he's a better FanDuel play. Love the matchup against zone-heavy defense like Seahawks. So going Michael Wilson here.
Yeah, I love him before the season started. I think, I think he's a good player. Obviously, would love to see him with Kyler maybe, just see, if that makes any difference. But, he's been great. When he's targeted, I think he has one of the highest passer ratings when targeted.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been doing very well. I'll stack Gino with DK here. 7,700, nice. Right on the average price that I'm working with here. I think DK is a good shot to get in the end zone this week.
Mm-hmm. Damn. I'm gonna go with a defense here. Which one? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But FanDuel pricing is a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball. I'll go Seahawks here, 4,900.
Ooh. Yeah, that defense is steep. You see why I went with the Giants, right?
No kidding.
Steep defensive prices.
Yeah.
All right, I
have the Walker Seahawks defensive stack on this team, so we have opposite teams going on.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Musgrave, but I'll go with Amon-Ra at 8,200 at wide receiver. Baltimore in the slot, still not great. Maybe they put Humphrey there, but Humphrey hasn't really looked great since coming back. I don't know if the injury is still bothering him. And then who's it going to be? Arthur Millette, Hamilton maybe comes down. Either way, Amon-Ra can beat all these guys. So take him at 8,200. And in what could be a trailing game script for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
For Detroit.
I'm going to go with QB here. I'm going to go Stafford. He's 6,700. I'm trying to figure out which running back they use the most this week. Maybe they just throw more.
Maybe.
So I'll go with Stafford here.
All right. I'll go. You didn't take Bijan in this one, right?
No, I didn't. Nope.
Yeah. So I'll go Bijan here. He's 7,500. That's cheaper than Aaron Jones. So he's been priced down. He hasn't really been hitting it. Big games the way we've liked. He's been kind of in that 10-ish half PPR range, getting in the end zone enough though. But I think on the road, Desmond Ridder, you probably don't trust him as much. I think you'll probably see a bigger, more involved Bijan. They did say they're trying to work keep him healthy. That's why they're giving Algier so many carries, which kind of thought that might be the case. But either way, I think this is a pretty good price you're getting Bijan at 7,500.
I got to start spending some money, so I'm going to take Cooper Kupp in my flex at 9,700 and pair him up with Stafford.
All right.
I have 6,500 left over for my tight end slot.
I have 72 at receiver. I'll just spend it on Terry again. Encouraged by him running a route over 90% of the dropbacks, first time all year. Good matchup against some man coverage for the Giants, and maybe the Giants can steal a possession, get a pick six, and that helps my defense and Terry. So yeah, we'll go with that. What about you?
Well, I have 6,500, so I could for tight end, so I could go with Darren Waller or Sam Laporta.
Huh. Hard choice.
Yeah, I'm
One of
gonna
these
have to
guys
go.
is good.
Yeah, no kidding. Future Hall of. By the way, we need to make a side bet. I will bet you Laporta makes the Hall of Fame. Like if you give me 20-1 odds or something like that. I'm gonna go with my boy Sam Laporta here, which is weird to say. I could not imagine this a month ago, but yeah. Oh, give me him over Darren Waller any day of the week right now.
Better Hall of Fame odds right now: Sam Laporta or CJ Stroud.
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, Stroud would be more likely, I would imagine. Just quarterbacks.
But isn't it easier to get in as a tight end, wouldn't you think? Like if Laporta is like averaging like let's say Laporta for his career is able to average 4+ catches a game.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be an easier path because Stroud is going up against all these legends. But yes, I mean both of them.
I'll have to look into that, but that's good. Maybe we'll do that. You get Stroud, I get Laporta.
I'll take Stroud all day.
I know.
I do like Laporta. I do think Laporta just based on there's only so many tight ends. If he can continue to produce this way for the prime of his career, most tight ends don't get that start as a rookie, and they don't they're just not that productive. Period. So yeah, I like Laporta's chances too, but. You're going with him over Waller?
I'm going with him.
Okay.
Yeah, spending my full budget here, so I have $0 remaining. Taking Sam Laporta, but I didn't plan out that way. But that's how the cookie crumbled with my lineup here.
All right, so who you got?
I got Matthew Stafford at quarterback. At running back, I went with Kenneth Walker and Jaleel McLaughlin. At wide receiver, I went with Zay Flowers, Christian Watson, and Michael Wilson. And then I went with Sam Laporta at tight end. My flex, I had to start spending money, so I took Cooper Kupp. And then for my defense, I went with the Seahawks facing the Cardinals this week.
I got Geno at quarterback, 7K. Running backs, Josh Jacobs at 8K at Chicago. And Javonte Williams, 6K, hosting the Packers. Also have Bijan Robinson in my flex as a running back. He's 75K at Tampa. Wide receivers, DK Metcalf, 7,700 against the Cardinals, stacked with Geno. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8,200 at Baltimore. Still have questions about their cornerback situation. And Terry McLaurin, 7,200 against the Giants. Good matchup for him, getting the usage back to where it needs to be. Tight end, Luke Musgrave at 5K at Denver. And the Giants kind of punting with the Giants defense, 3,400 against Washington and Sam Howell. Just hoping they make some mistakes. Division game. Giants tend to own Washington, so like the matchup there. And that will do it for our Fantasy Flex Fantasy Preview episode for week number 7. For more fantasy content from Sean and I, remember we have our player projections episode out right now over on the Action Network podcast channel. That's where we break down guys we're high and low on at each position, our top fives, some props, the Thursday night slate. So check that out. We'll have the night shift episode later in the week, breaking down the Sunday night, Monday night DFS slates. That'll drop Friday. And you can check out actionnetwork.com for all of our NFL fantasy and betting content. FantasyLabs.com for our DFS tools and models. Find Sean on X at @the_oddsmaker. I'm at Chris Raybon. We're at those same handles on the free award-winning Action Network app. And also be sure to check our Discord as well. We'll put a link in the episode description. I know Sean is very active in the Discord. I'm getting there, I'm trying to figure out. Discord is a little new to me, but I've been on there here, chopping it up a little bit. So I'll continue to hop on, especially around Thursday night football. We'll be on there chopping it up. So be sure to check out our Discord as well. And until next time, let's get this money.